So again, just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded. This meeting will be public. We'll start with a roll call. Are we muting? How's the muting work? Is that only council members will be unmuted until there is a call for conversation? Is that?
Yeah, it's gonna be, everybody's gonna be muted except for council members.
Okay. And then there for folks to talk. And if you are providing the committee report, you obviously will be unmuted as well. So.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with roll call then.
Okay.
All right. So Nikki Adams.
Here.
Dana Barone. Mary Kay Cunningham.
You hear that?
Hi, I'm here. Thank you.
Keith.
I'm here.
Betty Fermetta.
I'm here.
Jennifer Garman.
Here.
Chris Grandy.
Here.
Shirley.
Here.
Kevin Longenecker. Florence Reed.
Here.
Nancy Ritchie. Do we have Nancy Ritchie or no?
She is still in a box, so maybe she just hasn't come back.
Okay. We know Jean's not here. Leah Sheffield.
I'm here.
Lisa Sportelli.
Here.
All right, and we know Court's not here. All right. So everybody else that is not a council member, please mute yourself.
Thank you, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, do you want to move us through the agenda?
Sure.
Start with the,
I'd like to welcome everybody to this call. And then we did roll call, right?
yes.
Okay, now, the second one is the approval of the July agenda.
I'd like to add, we did not approve the January 2020 minutes. And the reason that we didn't do that was because we made it a very short council meeting. So we do need to add that to the agenda.
Yes. Okay, we can do the approval of the April minutes.
Now, should we do the vote on the July agenda?
Yeah, let's do that.
So all in favor of the July agenda with the one change of adding the January minute approval? Say aye.
Aye.
So
Any-
moved.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, the approval of the April minutes.
Is there a motion to approve the April minutes?
Hi, this is Keith Cook. I'd like to make a motion to approve the April minutes.
He's okay.
And we need a second.
This is Betty.
Thank you, Betty. Any discussion? You want to call for the vote, Chris?
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any motion carried?
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Good.
Okay, now we are the executive director and the
Now-
executive.
Wait, I'm sorry, Chris, because this was confusing. So we need to do the January 2020 minutes.
January 2020 minutes, yes.
Is there a motion to approve the January 2020 minutes?
So moved. Lisa
Thank you,
Sportelli.
Lisa. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Betty.
Yes, Lisa.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Chris, do you want to call for the vote?
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carried.
Any opposed?
No.
Any abstentions? All right, Chris, you got it.
We'll go down to the executive director and the executive committee reports. Lisa?
Yes, thanks, Chris. So the executive director's report was submitted in writing to council for your review. Some of the highlights include in the staffing realm, all of the council staff continue to telework and maintain all essential functions during this time of pandemic mitigation and social distancing orders. Other news that we have contracted with Mary Hartley from 446 Bridges to draft the comprehensive review and analysis, as well as facilitate our 5-year planning process. And we responded to a right to know request from early June and have submitted minutes from all council and committee meetings in response to that request with the appropriate redactions. Other updates, the small grant and expansion funding contracts are in process and are moving through the bureaucracy. And as of today, everything is on track so that the procurement process should be completed with the timelines on track for funding to be available for those grantees as planned on October 1st, 2020. We have received a request from, or a proposal for conducting a research project to research the impact of COVID-19 on individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And the goals and research will help assess positive and negative impacts and provide meaningful information and a report to council around how to best support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in this COVID crisis and also other emergency situations. The council and staff have been engaged with several different advocacy efforts since our meeting in April. Those are all detailed in writing in the written report. Highlighting a few of those, Chris Grandy as co-chair represents the council on calls with Senator Casey's office and their staff to learn about the federal response to COVID, as well as provide input from council's perspective on issues that need to be addressed here in Pennsylvania. The Coalition for Inclusive Community continues to meet to address many of the concerns and needs of the community during this time. We meet with our sister organizations, the Disability Rights Network and the Institute on Disabilities at Temple, as well as the Office of Developmental Programs on an ongoing basis throughout the crisis to address the needs that are emerging. We've also partnered with the Department of Treasury to provide an FAQ and information out to the field around the stimulus payments that went out to individuals with disabilities and how they can use that money in to further their own it's their personal money that they get the right to use it and practice self-determination and decision making around that, and also to encourage use of ABLE accounts when appropriate. We have participated in a roundtable discussion on access to voting for people with disabilities and the aging prior to the primary election in the beginning of June. And as you all know, Council met directly with Senator Casey to discuss many of the issues that are facing the community during this time. And lastly, the Council leadership met with Secretary Torres from the Department of Aging, as well as Secretary Miller in the Department of Human Services to discuss short-term needs in the community based on the COVID response, and shared the council's pandemic statement, and also discussed opportunities to work together and help inform the next 5-year plan. Another update that wasn't on the written report is that we did learn from Secretary Miller that our nominees that were presented to the governor are still in process, and we are waiting for those official letters to come from the governor's office, and she will help advocate on our behalf to move those forward. Additionally, we have, well, some of this is going to be covered in the committee report, so I'll skip that. And yeah, so that's a summary of the executive director's report. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, can we have the chairperson's report?
Chris, we'll start with you. Is there anything that you'd like to report on as chairperson? So I'll give the report. One, we want to thank all of our staff for figuring out new work processes and being able to pivot during the time of the stay-at-home orders. I know that for many of us that are doing that, it's a change in our lifestyle. And every time I look down there at Jen, I've had a number of meetings with Jen, and she's had children at her side, which actually is so nice. So we thank all the council the staff who have been able to do that, and certainly the council members and committee members who have continued to have dialogue with our grantees and helped them pivot as well. Very much appreciated. We finalized the council procedures for the election of the chair and vice chair, and the council selects a chairperson and vice chairperson. We will have those elections in October. Folks, their office begins on January the 1st, and if folks want to nominate themselves or someone else, then they need to forward those names to the nominations committee. If it comes from a different person, then we obviously will go back to the nominee and confirm that they are interested in serving as chairperson. The person with the highest votes becomes the chairperson, and then the next votee high is the vice chair, and that will be for a period of 2 years. And again, the details related to that are on the member portal. The executive committee has met a number of times during the past couple of months to talk about recommendations from both the nomination committee and the finance committee related to our obligations. And again, the details around that are in the meeting notes, which are on the board portal. The other thing that the executive committee did is that we did a 6-month review of our new executive director, Lisa Tesler. She did very, very well, I might add. And we look forward to then doing your 12 months, which will come around awfully darn quick. And a thank you to Chris Grandy, who is serving on our behalf with the meetings with Senator Casey. We very much appreciate, Chris, you stepping in for council and doing that. And then Lisa also mentioned the meetings which members of the executive committee have had with Secretary Torres, Secretary Miller, and the full committee with, or the full council with Senator Casey. Chris, can you think of anything else that we want to report? Does that cover it?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions that anybody has?
Shirley, I see that a question was posted on the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Why secret ballots instead of transparent?
Well,
Shot at that?
huh?
You want me to give a shot at that?
Sure.
Okay, from the nominating committee, we
Yeah.
felt since it will be a virtual meeting, most likely, that was the only way we could be sure that actual council members were saying aye or saying nay or whatever. So the secret ballot was simply the way to keep it clear in the context of a virtual meeting.
And folks will be getting detailed information about how that process is actually going to occur. We're still working out the details on that. Any other questions? I'm sorry, I missed that. Thanks, Nancy. Okay.
I had a random question about the special project policy.
Mm-hmm.
Just the name. I actually think I could feel Graham's ears burning yesterday when I put it away. I'm like, wow, is council really calling a special project for special people? I can't believe we called it that. And it didn't really hit me even until I was gathering up my papers from yesterday. And I didn't know if there was just, I didn't want to super sleuth brainsmith names today, but I just wanted to be aware of that name.
Well, and there were a lot of emails. I mean, you hit it right. You know, I mean, you hit it right. And thank you for bringing it up. There have been a number of emails that have occurred between the end of yesterday's meeting and even even up to this morning about that we do need to change the name. So I is in summary of those emails, yes, we need to change the name, and we also need to make sure that any change that's made doesn't delay it going out. So I think that seems to be the conversation that needs to have. Would it be fair to say, Lisa, that we need a little bit more time to finalize the name, but it will not be special projects? Lisa Tesler.
That's okay by me, and I'm certainly, I mean, we don't want to delay a significant amount of time because the idea behind the not special projects, the projects by a new name, is to help get resources out into the community as quickly as possible. So yeah, so I'm open to suggestions, but I think we, as council, you'll want to make a decision relatively quickly so that we can.
I mean, it doesn't say it's specific to pandemic, or although it was just because I had a problem with my own provider agency. What do we call this? I called it a pandemic policy, but we're saying in here that it's not just for the pandemic right now. I mean, a disaster policy was not really the best term because I don't really care. I was just sensitive about the word special.
Right. So I guess the question is, would folks leave it up to? I mean, it is within John's grant, in the meetings coordination grant. Are people okay with not using the word special and then leaving it up to staff to figure out what's the word that's used so that we don't delay the implementation, getting the information out? Is anybody object to that?
I think that's a good idea, Shirley, and maybe if the staff comes up with a couple of different ideas and want to run it by executive committee or something in an email or whatever, but I'm fine with that.
Okay. Anybody have any objection for proceeding in that manner? I'm not sure we need a vote as long as we have consensus. Anybody object? I don't see anything on the screen, and Okay. And so I think we're ready, Chris, to move on to the next.
Do we have any acceptance and ratification of reports and minutes?
We do. Is it appropriate for the chair of the committee to do those, or shall I just do them all? Shall I just do each one?
You don't have the amount of people that does it all. You're on.
Okay. Lisa Tesler, your mouth is open like you're going to say something.
You can
So
speak.
do we need to have a motion to accept the reports and minutes from the executive director and the chairpersons and then move on
Oh,
to
yeah,
committee?
you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. Chris, do you want to? So what we need is golly, I'm working with two computers and it's, so where are we here?
So the agenda says acceptance and ratification of reports
Oh,
and
yes.
minutes. And so we would need a motion to accept the executive director and chairperson's reports and minutes.
So moved. This is Nancy.
Well, but I wonder if that's where, oh, okay, the next one, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Then I second Lisa Sportelli.
any discussion? So it's been moved by Nancy Ritchie, seconded by Lisa Sportelli to accept and ratify the reports and the minutes of the executive committee, the executive director and chairperson's report. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Hearing none, we move on to the next item, Chris.
Okay. Now we need a committee decisions for ratification.
So Shirley, according to my notes, the committees that had
Yeah.
decisions were empowerment and social change.
Mhm. So I would like to make a motion that council approve continuation of funding for the meetings coordination grant at $410,000 for a period of 2 years.
Chris Kennedy says aye.
I don't know that you can.
No.
Do we have a sec? Do we have a second?
This is
Nobody.
Leah Sheffield. I'll second.
Oh, second, okay. Yes.
You want to call for discussion, Chris?
Yes. Any abstentions?
Any discussion on that motion?
I don't hear nobody.
Hearing none, shall we take the vote, Chris?
Yes, we can. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Yeah, we can go to the
Any
next.
nays?
Oh, nays.
Shirley motioned first.
Yes.
Shirley made the motion. Any abstentions? Hearing none, there was the housing, the values into action. Can the chairperson of that committee make that recommendation, that motion?
I'll make that motion, Shirley.
Yeah. Now, I think, Chris, I think it has to be the person from the committee.
On the committee. Please speak up, guys. Well,
Was this for values into action?
Yeah, the 50,000.
I think
Laura?
Ecoma's the chair for that committee, but I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
think she's here, so
that's
that's
right.
the confusion.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
that's where we're a little lost. So I can do that one again. I would like to make a motion that the council approve continuation of funding for values into action at a cost of $50,000 for a period of 1 year. You want to call for the second, Chris?
Yes, I need to call for the second.
This is Betty, second.
And then call for discussion, Chris?
Yeah,
Any discussion?
no. Okay, that was,
Hearing none. Chris, do you want to call for the vote?
all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any discussion? I'm sorry, any nays? And any abstentions? Hearing none. And then the next one is our communication grantee. Is someone prepared to make that motion?
Yes, for social change, this is Keith Folk. I would like to make a motion for the committee to recommend, or for council to approve continuation of funding of the communication publication in the amount of $135,000 for the timeframe of September 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2021.
So moved. Lisa Sportelli.
Okay, we have a first and a second on that recommendation. Do we have any discussion?
Not hearing none.
Okay, go for the vote, Chris.
All those in favor of, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any Any opposed? And any abstentions? The motion is passed.
Okay, now we'll do the evaluation.
What about the discontinuation of funding for occupational development? Does that need to
Yeah.
be voted?
We had a question about whether or not that really needed to have a motion to begin with. So what is I see Lisa's mouth is open again.
You see
I
that,
just
Ralph?
want to confirm with Rochelle that they refused the funding after the letter was sent. Is that correct?
That is correct. They kind of withdrew after we said we were going to bring up discontinuing it anyway. So
So then there really is nothing to vote on.
That's
very good.
if they have withdrawn and are backing out of the grant contract, then I don't
Okay.
think the council needs to vote.
Okay.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, sorry for the confusion about that, Keith and folks. And that was $150,000 that will then be coming back to council.
Right.
that's correct.
Okay, you're on, Chris.
Okay, now can we have the multicultural diversity?
Oh, no, we're on the policy information exchange. Keith, I'm sorry, we jumped
Yeah.
around. It's
Oh,
Keith.
okay,
What did you need approved?
Nothing. Do you have any report from the policy information exchange meeting?
Hold on, please. I got to get to my document.
Yep. No worries.
All right, where are you? Here we are. Just again, like I said before, that along the lines of, we had an update of the policy response to impact of COVID-19 given to by David and Lisa, an update of policy call, recognizing that with Katie Yost, recognizing that we're going back to the monthly call of the policy information exchange call that she does, with the understanding that David and Lisa and Katie will collaborate throughout to see if there's a need then to do it more frequently. And there will be the determining factor. They will be the ones that decide that. And Katie also gave an update in reference to pretty much similar to what the update she does within the policy information exchange. And so she shared out that information. And I'm trying to think what was the other thing. Amy provided a bill discussion that she was talking about before we had adjourned. I'm trying to think if there was other business of interest that I missed. Can anybody recall? So that was the overview of the policy information exchange work group.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next one, the next work group, Chris?
Next work group is the evaluation from Celia Feinstein.
Thanks, Chris. In our meeting, we basically talked about the 5-year planning, the 5-year plan. We talked about updating our demographic information to be more appropriate. We talked about the outcomes project to look at the outcomes achieved by council projects. And we talked about a new COVID research project being done at Temple University. So I think that was really it for us.
Thank you, Celia. Our next committee report, Chris?
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any questions for Celia? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Hearing none. The next one, Chris?
The nominations committee.
I think that was Amy Millar.
Yes.
Yep, there
Yep,
she's coming off mute. Sorry.
I'm here.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah, so we met today and we approved the agenda and everything, and then we discussed the Community Alliance Summit, which it looks like it will be moving towards a virtual meeting this year. And Dana and her work group around the Community Alliance will be meeting next week to take in the discussion as they plan, and will give us an update after that. I don't know if Dana, if you want to say anything on that or not.
No, I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
So that was.
I would like to just add that Dana had said, Dana, if you can announce when the meeting was, and if anyone wants to be part of the planning meeting, reach out to Dana. Next Wednesday, did you say?
Sure, next Wednesday at 10 a.m. And yeah, I have several people that already asked me to forward the link to them, and I have done that. But yes, if anyone's interested in helping, please let me know.
Dana, is that what conference call is that?
For the planning of the Community Alliance Summit.
Yes.
Yes, you would like the link?
Call.
10 o'clock.
I can do that because I'll be home by that time.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Oh, I just just wanted to make sure that Rochelle, I think yours on the chat, there's a number of suggestions in there for titles.
Just gonna put them a list together and
Okay.
email of every single suggestion that comes through on there, email it to Lisa and let her take all of them to the executive committee and they can select one. Does that work?
Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure we don't miss those. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yep.
Okay, Chris, do you want to move us on to the next agenda item?
Yes, we are. Now we can do the finance committee.
Now, isn't nominations next?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I meant the nomination. Sorry, Shirley.
Okay, nope, you're good. I'll go ahead and do the nominations report. We have met, and there are minutes for the March meeting as well as the July meeting on the portal. At the July meeting, there were 2 applications that got reviewed, and what we want folks to know is that we are really trying to look at the nominations that are coming in. Where does council stand right now? And where do we need demographically, where do we need to, what do we need to add to council? For example, we need much more diversity added to council in terms of race and ethnicity, as well as locations around the state. So there was one application that we received which certainly was a good application, but it did not, it wasn't the demographics that we are seeking right now. And then the other application was someone who talked about their adult child, and what we're doing is we're getting back to them to find out is could the adult child speak on their behalf as opposed to the parent being the council member. We have scheduled, and McKinley, do you recall off the top of your head what the dates are for September for the group nomination events? I think
Yes, it's the hang on 1 second here.
Okay.
No one is the 11th. I think it's the 10th and the 11th, but let me take a quick look here.
Okay.
And also, surely that they will be virtual sessions.
Yes, that's right. So what we had talked about doing was revamping, pivoting in our group nomination events as well. And that Chris and I will do a short video that gives an overview of the council, and that we will ask folks to view that prior to the group nomination meeting, and then during the group nomination meeting, when folks have that background, then certainly answer questions, but then also have conversations with people, because that's really one of the benefits of the group nomination meetings. And we will offer that at 2 different times. I think one's late afternoon, one is morning, in order to hopefully accommodate the folks that are interested in being on council.
Yeah, it is the 10th and the 11th.
Okay, of September. Okay.
Yeah, and it's here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and it's 2 to 4 p.m. on the 10th, and the other one is, let me see here. The other one is 9 to 11 on the 11th.
Okay, thank you. And then folks, also just updating, and Lisa gave some information about this, that we have submitted names to the governor for approval. And those folks have been notified, but we have not received that approval back from the governor. We did ask for some assistance from the Secretary of Department of Human Services, but we certainly also know that there is a heck of a lot on the governor's plate right now. So that is in the works as well. Anything? Yeah.
This is Leah. Are we allowed to know who the nominees are?
Oh yeah, because it's in they're in the minutes.
I don't see it in the minutes.
Go to the March one. They're actually in the March one.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no, yes, I mean, that's not hidden.
Okay.
It's like, surprise, guess
minutes.
I think the difference from the March meeting is that CJ Rhine represents a part of Pennsylvania in which we don't have representation, so we're going to ask him to become a council member.
Okay.
Or we've asked him to become a council member, so that's the only thing but they are listed in the March.
I found it. Thank you.
Any other questions for the nomination committee?
Okay.
I guess I could just say, Shirley, for later, when we do find out the demographics that we are looking for and pinpoint, maybe, email to council so we could reach out to.
Okay.
If you happen to know anyone that fills that position, that we can help you with the application to submit.
Great. And we do have the information. We know the demographics of the people who serve on council, as well as our committees, and we know where they're from, what parts of the state. So we do have, McKinley has prepared a fabulous chart that we use, which takes the guesswork out of it.
Awesome. I'd like to just help to get folks to submit nominations in those pockets.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Chris, shall we move on to the next, finance?
Yes, we can.
And Rob is chair of finance? Rob, do you want to do that?
If he's still on.
I don't see him on. Oh, there he
Okay.
is.
Okay. Rob, will you do finance committee? Or do you want me to do it?
He is muted probably because he's a committee member.
Okay. So
No, he's not muted, but he just has a picture up, so he might
Rob?
not be there.
Rob.
Come on, Bobby, buddy.
I'll go
Sorry,
ahead.
I was on double secret probation or something. No, Shirley,
Thank you. Sorry about that.
no worries. Well, I've got my microphone was actually muted on this end as well. Shirley, I will let you do it.
Okay. All right. So again, the finance committee minutes from Wednesday, June the 24th are in the membership portal. And so if you want details in terms of what we already have obligated, all of our 2018's funds are obligated and a little over 100%, but we know that there is money that always, a little bit of money that comes back, so we think we're fine. The 2021, we have a large amount of funds that need to be obligated, and what the finance committee had talked about are how do we resolve that issue. One of the ways that we talked about mitigating that is putting money into the meetings coordination grant that would do both a special, both of the projects that we talked about that we can respond quickly related to accessibility issues and information sharing related to COVID, as well as scholarships. And so that has moved through and we have approved that. And 2019 and 2020 are still in a period of obligation. And we also talked about money. We all, staff are doing a fabulous job of looking at how bills are coming in and how grantees are being paid. And for the 2018 funds, 85% of the budgeted allotment is liquidated as of 3/18. So we know that Bree has a much more up-to-date information about that. And that the federal 18 funds must be totally liquidated by September, totally spent by September the 30th. And whatever money is not spent, then we certainly have to give back. We've learned that for fiscal year 2020, our federal dollars, we've learned the fiscal year 2020 notice of award was received and the amount is $3,026,521, and that 2021 is projected to be close to that same amount. So we're very, very pleased about that. Rob, anything else that you can think of from the finance committee?
No.
We've been on the phone hours and hours about that, about these issues. So I hope I caught it. Okay. Okay, Chris, back to you.
Okay. Now we can do.
Or any, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. Any questions about the finance committee report? Okay, hearing none. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, we're still gonna do the finance report, right?
No, we just did that.
Okay. Do you have any other business? Guess not.
Okay.
Okay, no, I move for adjournment.
So do we have a motion to adjourn at 11:47?
The whole council or just that meeting?
I think it's everybody.
It's for everybody.
Oh,
Yeah,
then I
everybody.
did have something I wanted to say. I just
Oh,
wanted
okay,
to,
sorry.
I thought it was that portion. I didn't know it was
No.
the whole shindig. I just wanted to remind everyone that about the communications publications and that we do meet. And if anyone is having any hard time accessing the documents on our members only website, get to Carrie or myself, and we will get questions. If you have any questions, that you can email Carrie so that we can present them to Becky in case it's over our heads. But we are going to actively look for probably holding another Zoom meeting to maybe navigation of the website. So if anyone's interested in that, please let Carrie know. And we just want to make sure everyone has access to the documents prior to the meeting and after the meeting. And that's all I wanted to say.
Anybody
Did I
else
miss
have?
it, Carrie? Did I get it all?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks.
Hey, Lisa, when is that, that Zoom meeting you talked about? When will be that? What date and whatever?
We didn't schedule it yet, Chris, but if people want to do it, we are going to have one if it's necessary.
Oh, okay. Just, I wanted to make sure.
I've never used my last name so many times.
Okay, I can move on then. Thanks, Lisa. How about the Finance Committee report?
No, we got that. We're good. So,
Okay, now, any other business?
yeah, any other business, folks?
I'm proud of us.
I know.
Don't worry.
We've pivoted well, haven't we? We
Oh,
still
yeah.
have some hiccups. That's all right. Yep. So hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
All right.
I'll
Is there-
second.
And Lisa
Lisa
seconds.
seconded.
Any discussion?
Hey, just got.
All in favor say aye.
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 Are those the kids in the background saying yay? Any any nays say nay? Any abstentions? Motion carried. We are done at 11:49. Everybody stay safe, stay well.
Thanks,
Take
thanks,
care.
guys.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
You
Thanks,
too.
everyone. Be
Bye.
safe.